everyone, you're watching Quarant Wins, where we celebrate small wins during the quarantine. For today's episode, we will be talking about this very special drink that's not only healthy, tangy, but also fizzy. Today we'll be talking about kombucha. Hi Adrian, thank you for coming here to Quarant Wins.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes. So, can you introduce yourself to our viewers and a brief background of your business, please?
Sure. My name is Adrian Madariata and I'm the owner of Humor Beverages. We offer very quirky but at the same time healthy beverages, especially through social media.
So, what's being sold in No Humor Beverages?
We mostly sell very healthy beverages, mostly tea-based beverages. Like for example, we have the kombucha, we have the ginger beer, as well as the fairy tears. And these are drinks that are tea-based and healthy.
Okay, so these don't have any alcohol in it, right?
And no alcohol.
Alright, cool. So today I understand we'll be making kombucha, which is a fermented tea drink that's very beneficial for your guts. Yeah, so this is your mother's SCOBY, right?
Yes, this is what we call a SCOBY hotel. This is where we store all of our SCOBYs.
So what's a SCOBY?
SCOBY basically means symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast, and this is where all the good stuff, the good bacteria, the yeast that we're going to use to ferment the kombucha.
Okay, so let's start making kombucha. Okay, Adrian, so what's the first step to brewing kombucha?
Okay, well, the first step is steeping your tea. The most common tea used is the any black tea, but what I specifically use is the oolong tea.
Do you use the loose tea or tea bags?
You can use either. For tea bags, it's going to be a different ratio to the water, but I specifically use loose leaf tea. I use four tablespoons of loose leaf tea to 2 cups of hot water.
Okay, so how many gallons do we need? Because I understand from there you're using 4 cups water, right, for the tea?
2 cups.
Oh, 2 cups, sorry. And then with the jar here, that's purely water. How many cups is this?
Water would be around 13 cups of water. Since we'll be adding in 2 cups of tea, as well as 1 cup of the starter juice.
Yeah. So how many bottles will this batch make?
For this particular, for 1 gallon, I could make up until 8 bottles. So that's why I have a lot of these.
Alright, so let's start.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so when you steep your tea, you can add in your sugar. Sugar, I use 1 cup sugar to 2 cups of hot water and 4 tablespoons of tea. So after steeping, you have to make sure it's room temperature before putting it in your water. Or you could also use cold water.
Yeah. So what's the importance of using cold water or making sure that your tea is already at room temperature?
If you have room temperature water, you should use room temperature tea. Because if you use hot tea, you should use cold water because it helps bring the tea to room temperature.
And I understand that SCOBY is not like you shouldn't put SCOBY in hot water, right?
Yes. Actually, SCOBY is very alive. It has like bacteria and yeast living inside the SCOBY. So if you put it in hot water, it will die. So first, I already prepared this tea ahead. We'll just put in the tea. Hope it doesn't spill. So just put the tea here.
Adrian, what pushed you through? I mean, when did No Humor Beverage start?
It started within the pandemic. I started this around August actually. It's just pretty new. So it's one of the things you do when you have nothing else to do in the pandemic. So just give this a look.
What pushed you or motivated you to make kombucha and turn it into a business? Like, what's the story behind it?
Well, I first heard about kombucha from YouTube videos that I've been watching, and I wanted to try it out for myself. So I first brewed kombucha for myself to drink it at home. Then I realized, especially in this pandemic, people need another layer of protection. So since it has a lot of health benefits, I started with friends.
Yeah.
I gave them some kombucha. They like the kombucha though.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not make it a business?
Yeah. Why is it called No Humor Beverage?
Okay, no humor beverage. It's sort of like I won't say an insult, but it's more of like it's more of like a nod to woke culture. Because these day and age, especially on social media, a lot of people would be they would be
Easily pissed off.
they would be pissed off on social media. So why not give them something to be pissed off at? That's why my labels are very quirky.
Yeah, I can see that. Like the booch, it's actually batch, guys. It's not the B word. It's batch. But think it whatever, because there's an asterisk on the front. So Adrian, we have our tea ready. What's the next step?
Okay, the next step is we'll be adding 1 cup of starter tea to the mixed sweet tea that we've already prepared.
And we'll be adding a layer of SCOBY too,
Yeah,
right?
we're adding a SCOBY. Make sure your hands are clean and sterilized, especially when you're brewing for people at home.
Yeah. Alright, so I have clean hands, but they're not as sterile as Adrian, so I'll let Adrian do the others.
So, okay, let's remove these. Okay.
It looks like a very alien-like.
Yeah, alien-like.
Yeah.
they look scary, but they're very healthy actually.
Yeah, because it has all the yeast and bacteria. Okay, so
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okay, so we'll be adding 1 cup of that here.
Okay.
Okay, sure. You pour it.
Yeah. Just tell me when to stop.
Okay. Okay.
Stop.
Okay, stop.
Okay.
That's enough. 1 cup. Okay, and then we'll add this to our sweet tea mixture.
Okay. Put it here. Careful.
Okay. That way it's not hot anymore, so the bacteria will not die off.
What's the reason for putting 1 cup of starter tea?
Well, actually, starter tea is much more important than the SCOBY.
Oh, really?
It's because the starter tea contains all the bacteria itself.
Okay.
The SCOBY is just the house for that bacteria.
Okay.
Yeah, so you couldn't have an empty house, man. So
Yeah.
you need to put in the starter tea as well. Okay, so next we're going to put some SCOBY.
Adrian, I realized that your SCOBYs are quite thick.
Yeah,
I have a SCOBY at home, but it's not this thick. How do you get it to like reach this certain thickness?
It's important that you don't move the container around that much. So you need to have a separate container at home, which you don't move for a few months. And you'll get a very thick SCOBY. If you notice, there are a lot of layers.
Yeah.
That means that this particular SCOBY has been moved a lot. So yeah, it looks ugly, but it's very healthy. It contains a lot of good bacteria, yeast. So we're going to put that in here. Okay. There you go. And let it fall. Okay, so that's
We're
already
gonna cover
good.
it back, right?
Yeah. And the reason we're using cloth to cover the jars is because we need to let since it's alive, we need to let it breathe.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so it needs to breathe. And this one, because it's okay if you don't close it, but the cloth helps keep the insects away.
Yeah, the impurities away, like dust and everything.
So
It's also important to use glass jars, right?
Yes.
Not metal, not plastic, because it affects the growth of the SCOBY, right?
Yes, and also the taste because kombucha is very acidic.
Yeah.
It's acidic, so it eats away plastic as well as metal. So it's important that you have glass because it keeps the flavor of the kombucha.
What are the challenges you met during the pandemic while you make this business?
With the business, it's always the market because you will never know if people would buy it or not.
Yeah.
Especially this pandemic because a lot of people don't have jobs anymore. So that's a difficulty here with this times of
Difficulty.
difficulty.
Kombucha isn't so known here in the Philippines, let alone Cebu. What are there any challenges there in like doing your marketing for kombucha?
With social media, it's much easier nowadays. It's already a $1 billion industry in the US.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's much easier to let people know about kombucha, especially through social media, viral videos, we
Yeah.
have YouTube as well. So there's not really much of a challenge. The challenge there is making people understand the benefits of that particular drink.
Yeah. So aside from kombucha, you're selling ginger beer
Yes.
and the fairy tears, right?
Yes.
What are those exactly?
Ginger beer is also fermented. It's fermented from ginger tea.
Uh-huh.
So it's also full of carbonation. It's good for substitute for sodas actually.
Yeah.
It's non-alcoholic.
Uh-huh.
It has like 0.5% alcohol content,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really show.
Mhm.
And it's very delicious with soju as well.
Yeah, but we're not gonna drink the. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, guys. Yes, we still have work. Anyway, what about fairy tears? Because they're so pretty. What are they?
Well, fairy tears is also tea based. I use butterfly pea flower or blue ternate.
Yeah.
I created a sweet tea out of that flour and then added lemon to create lemonade.
But how come it looks so pretty? Like, I like the luster of the drink. I'm not gonna drink it, I think, because like I just want to stare at it.
Yeah, it is pretty. I added edible glitter dust
Okay.
to make it look like fairy tears.
Okay.
But of course, there were no fairies emotionally harmed.
Where can we buy beverages from No Humor Beverages?
Well, you can contact us directly through our Facebook page.
Uh-huh.
It's facebook.com/nohumorbeverages. You can also find us through tarolocal.com.
Okay. Do you have any Instagram page?
Yes, we also have Instagram. It's No Humor Beverages.
Okay. So you deliver anywhere within Cebu City or anywhere?
Yeah, anywhere in Cebu as long as it can be delivered through a carrier.
Alright, cool. Alright, Adrian, so we have completed our kombucha here and we have all our products there. What do we do next for this newly made kombucha?
Okay, so it's important that you keep it away from direct sunlight. You put it in room temperature away from sunlight and you keep it there for maximum 40 days.
Oh,
This is what we call first fermentation.
yeah.
Yes, and then after that, if you want to flavor it, you can go through second fermentation as well. You can add fruit purees, fruit juice, and then ferment it you have to bottle it first,
Yeah.
then ferment it for another 2 to 3 days.
Okay. So this will be placed away in a room temperature room, away from sunlight, and if you want to have a thick layer of SCOBY, don't move it around like I did. Because like it's gonna create another layer. Alright. So before we end the show, you made this business out of curiosity, right?
Yes.
Of kombucha, and then you made it during the pandemic. So, what message can you give to our local creators out there?
Be brave enough to pursue anything, especially in this pandemic, because you don't know the things that's going to happen next. So if you have an idea, push through with it. Try. If it doesn't succeed, try again. So,
Alright. Thank you so much, Adrian. Thank you for
Thank
coming
you
here
so
and
much.
showing us how to make kombucha. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.